At least it's a delay that we can.
Yeah. It's just me and you, so
Yeah. That's. I mean, it would take some training to do that every day. Not. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the screen again.
All right, so we are live, back with Mondays with Mick. A couple of weeks in a row we've had it, and it's good to be back. And we're actually at Golf Addiction this week. Great place here.
Yeah.
Hear the whacking of the golf balls in the background. It's obviously it was really nice out today. So we're getting close to golf weather. Well, not real close, but
It's fun.
semi.
It's fun to think about though. And when you go outside today, like I did at 5:10 p.m. and I'm having a conversation with a colleague, and all of a sudden I'm about halfway out to my car, and it's like, whoa, it's nice out.
And I think I've talked about this in the past, but I'm in the middle of, or in the middle, I don't know if it's in the middle or the end. 23 straight months I played golf in Parkston. So I'm thinking on Wednesday, I'm going to try to get out and play my February round.
Okay.
And that'll be 2 straight years. I played outside 9 holes in Parkston.
This afternoon, you would have had to call for a tea time in Parkston.
Absolutely. So Mick, you know what at Sanford Health News?
Yeah.
What are you hard at?
Well, I'm working on a story about our Irvine. I think I talked a little bit about it last week, but our Sanford Power Irvine, California location, and how this time of year there's a bunch of NFL draft aspirants who are there, and it's kind of a story about Kurt Truey is a guy from Elk Point. Was a good football player at Elk Point. Then he played, I think, 4 years at Augie too, as a running back at Augie, and he's the new general manager of the facility out there. And so I talked to Kurt for quite a while, and he's a good dude, smart dude. Obviously, he wouldn't have that job if he wasn't. But and a little bit about the rapport and how the same level of expertise that got people into, professional athletes into the Irvine location. I mean, that's the same thing they're doing here with their Sanford Power in town and in Grand Forks, Fargo, Bismarck, Bemidji. So it's kind of a story just about how that they kind of work together, and that there's some things that the people in Sioux Falls, in Sioux Falls could do, have insight into, maybe with younger athletes that they don't really know too well, that they're just starting out on that in Irvine, and then vice versa. And overall, just the level of expertise, the level of facilities. How both, they're doing the same thing in Irvine, where they're dealing with professional athletes, and in South Dakota and in Fargo and Grand Forks.
Awesome. As you look at your work over the last couple of years there, do you get excited for certain, news stories? Obviously, you're a sports guy, but obviously a lot's been on the pandemic. But you've done some human interest stories on some people that have overcome a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's all. I mean, for me, the topical stories are a little bit heavier lift for me, because it's not something I did a lot of prior to this. But they're necessary stories. I mean, throughout the COVID, a lot of the stories are not about, even though there are plenty of stories out there, but they're not about like one person doing this. They're about, this is what we need to be doing. Type stories, and but obviously the sports ones, they're a little bit easier for me to write, because I kind of know how they work, and also the feature stories. I think ultimately that's what we all want to do when we're in our business, in this business, the Sanford Health News business. You show people. You don't tell them so much; it's show them. That's kind of our goal. Jesus spoke in parables a lot of times. He didn't just bring out the rule book and say, this is what the deal is. And that's kind of that's my goal with Sanford Health is.
To make it understandable,
Yes.
Relatable for somebody that's
Accept-
not in the
yeah.
health
Right.
care
Right.
business or
Right.
profession.
Accessible. Yeah. Make the information accessible, and I think that that's something that overall, I'm not talking about me, but overall, Sanford, we've posted a pretty robust effort in making sure that everybody knows the things you need to know about a vaccine, and being very persistent with that over the last 2 years with making sure that people have the opportunity to look at the latest available science on things, and it has a lot of times it's changed. I mean, it's science, and it evolves, and certainly our battle with this pandemic has evolved, and monitoring that and making sure that our information is up to speed on it and easy to understand is it's an ongoing effort, and I think that, I'm very proud of my colleagues and the battle we're waging there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that I'm maybe not everybody agrees with me on this, but I think what we've done scientifically since the pandemic started has just been amazing at the speed we were able to get a vaccine and get it out and all those things. And, appreciate you writing stories on that stuff to keep me, again, you're talking to doctors sometimes, and when I talk to a doctor, I don't understand them all the time, and you make it bring it back into words that I can understand and appreciate. So
Yeah, no.
Keep up the good work.
And it's probably different between the two of us. I got a little bit, I understand things that are a little different than you do, Tim.
Absolutely. We forgot to mention, we have two sponsors. Boss's Pizza. We were at Boss's last week. Great new venue over in T. We had the pizza after the show, and it was fabulous as always. Great food there at Boss's. So we thank Jeremy, who was on, shared with us his story a little bit last week.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
Yeah, we got to go back.
Story.
We got to go back there again.
Absolutely. And then Steve Mayer is our sponsor for us today. We spoke about him a little bit last week too. Just a great friend and a great supporter of us and Higher Power Sports, and very fortunate to have so many people like that in my life, who are friends, but then also support our mission through Higher Power Sports, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you very much to the sponsors.
Yeah, and I would just with Steve, number one, a great guy, and number two, based on how we know him, I would guess that when we stop talking about him, there's a little bit of relief on his part.
Well, maybe at the end we'll come back and maybe Steve will call in or something.
Okay.
At the end here. But we're going to get to this story last week, and we didn't get to it. We mentioned it briefly the last 2 weeks, actually. I don't even know the date now, what it was. It was a Saturday late afternoon game. O'Gorman was playing Roosevelt at the O'Gorman gym. And you know the story of my vehicles. Been fortunate to have people donate great vehicles to where I just ran them into the ground and ran. And you were kind enough to loan me one of your vehicles for about the last 2.5 years, I think it was, maybe 3. And it was time to kind of upgrade, to get a new one, and we started raising some money for a new vehicle, and started about 2 or 3 months ago. So anyway, we're just in the back of my mind, this is probably going to be a year and a half process of raising enough money to get a vehicle. Anyway, go to the game at O'Gorman, and I help coach at O'Gorman, so I coached the first half of the game. And at halftime, I'm walking into the locker room, and Steve Peter, the athletic director, grabs me and says, "Hey, somebody needs to talk to you." And I'm like, I can't leave. I got to get to the locker room with my guys. We're down 2. We got to get in there. We got to figure this out, But anyway, he grabs me and he starts walking me across the gym. And I'm like, oh, don't have any clue what's going on. And then he turns, he goes, no, you'll like talking to this guy. So, we're kind of going towards the Roosevelt section, to the other side of the gym. And then I start thinking, oh, somebody's going to shake my hand, thank me for I'm doing it, slip me a $50 bill, something like that. Well, this is going to be great halftime for me. And then I can get back in the locker room. Yeah. So we go past the Roosevelt section and we go out in the hallway. And now I'm like, now what's going on? And there's a bunch of people in the hallway. And there's some cameras because they're filming the game on, should have known this, sports something. Okay. The new one with John Gaskins and they do quite a few high school games. So, again, I'm oblivious to what's going on. Coach Keeter takes me down the hallway now, and now we're heading towards the band room. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on now. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden he pulls me into this room that I've never been in. I'm like, oh. And it's like the shop. And so now I'm nervous. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I see this guy standing there, and this other guy grabs me and says, stand right here. And the cheerleaders are down there. So I'm looking around, and then I notice there's a screen, a black curtain, kind of right in front of us. Okay. And so then I'm thinking in my head, that now I'm going, well, it's not a $50. There's going to be one of the big checks back there for like 500. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest night of higher power sports. So we stand there, and then they introduced me to the guy standing next to me is Mike Ness of First Dakota. And that's basically all he does is introduces me, and then we stand in silence. And I'm looking around, and I don't know what's going on. And then, when he introduced himself as Mike Ness of First Dakota, now I let it go a little bit. I thought, well, that big check back there, it's going to be $1,000. So, now I'm getting nervous. Some of my family was there. Didn't think anything of it because they come to the games quite a bit. And we're down there, which seemed like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden they go, you're on. And Mike Ness starts talking. And he started thanking me for what I do for Higher Power Sports. And, and he said it was First Dakota's 150-year anniversary, which is pretty impressive for a bank to be in business for 150 years. And he said, and we're celebrating by giving away some Ford F-150s. And he reaches in his pocket and he goes, and we'd like to give you the keys to your brand new Ford F-150 pickup. At this point, somebody that is never short for words or doesn't mind being in front of people is now speechless, and I just want to crawl in a hole because I'm so excited, emotional, thankful, all those things, but I'm very uncomfortable too at this point because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
This is a lot going on here in a very short time.
And then they pull the curtain back, and there's the pickup is in the shop. I'm like, oh my gosh, and he takes me around the back, and on the back they've got this beautiful picture of the river down by Yankton on the tailgate, and then on the window it has the Higher Power Sports logo. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is real. That's us. That's Higher Power Sports. This isn't no joke here. So again, unbelievable what they did. Now they take me back up to the gym, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna walk through and get to the locker room and be there. Well, I get there, and then everybody's cheering. I didn't realize that when they took me out, they played this thing on this big screen.
So they were seeing.
So everybody in the gym knew what was going on. I didn't know that, I didn't know that And then they showed on the screen, they showed him giving me the pickup. Couldn't have been blown away more by, obviously, the Gorman fans. You know, they're near and dear to my heart because I do a lot of stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Roosevelt fans, I said, you know, when I came out of the student section, nobody left the gym. It's halftime, you know. I'm sure they got to go get their hot dogs and popcorn, but everybody stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back in, they all cheered. And I was, again, very uncomfortable because I should have just grabbed the mic and went up in the middle and started talking. Then I probably would have been all right. But I started high-fiving some people and got some hugs, and then got to the other end of the court where my family was. And obviously, it was very emotional at that point.
Yep.
I talk about it, and I still can't believe it.
Well, it's, as you retell it, I'm getting the chills again, just like I did the first time, just like I did when I was watching it that Saturday afternoon. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible. And just this, it's something that you'll remember this the rest of your life fondly.
Yes.
And anytime you run into those kinds of situations, it's chilling, and it remains chilling. But it's such a great deal with that. Number one, incredible generosity here, and incredibly well deserved. And then just the cooperation, the collaboration with letting this thing unfold into kind of a, what would be memorable anyway, but even more memorable because it involved a lot of different people.
Oh, absolutely. And it would start with First Dakota. They had their employees nominate people, and 3 people nominated me, and then they went and voted. So I received one of them. And Rob Shelsky, who's from works at the bank in Mitchell. Jeremy Grady, who works at the bank in Salem, and was actually refereeing the game. And then Dusty Anderson, and Anderson's been friends of ours for a long time. And Dusty and Cindy were at the game too. And again, I was oblivious to what was going on. And it was so cool that those 3, thought enough to, because you get some of those emails and can nominate somebody. Well, it takes some work to nominate, for all 3 of them to put in the work and do the research to get that nomination complete and in means a lot. Because it took some work on their part. And then to have Dusty and Jeremy there, who are good friends, that I enjoy being around them, and just I wasn't very good at saying thank you then, because again, it turned into I don't know what to say. You guys did this for me, and again, it goes back to, it's not for me, it's for Higher PowerSports.
Yep.
And hopefully through this we can help others even more so than we've been able to in the past. So it's just been an amazing thing.
Astounding, and because I know you so well and I know what you do. I think everybody feels a little bit of that who knows you, where it's like, God bless you, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And everyone's been very nice about saying, and all that does is make me more uncomfortable. but there again, it's going to help so many people. It's going to help us at Higher PowerSports serve so many more people. Getting donated items more efficiently from wherever from point A to point B, way more efficiently than, okay, well, somebody calls, I've got these items. Okay, let me find a pickup. Now get back to,
Right.
And then, okay, now I got to get it to wherever we're going, in somebody in Sioux Falls, somebody in Parkston, out to Laurel, Indian Reservation, wherever we're going. this will just open up so much more time that I spent coordinating other things that, again, we're just going to be able to serve others more efficiently.
Yeah. That's the best. It's the best.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, like I said, it was Jeremy Gray's ref in the game. Well, so we'll go back. My wife knew 2 days. She found out. My other family members knew I was getting an award. They didn't know what I was getting. So they didn't know it was, they were like me. Oh, he's going to probably get a nice size check, to help out. So they were just as shocked when it was, a brand new pickup as I was. So that was really cool that they kept it a secret too to them. And again, I can't thank First Dakota enough for their generosity and their, celebrating in that way to help Higher PowerSports, help us serve others is really pretty cool on their part to go that direction.
Yes. I
So
like to say, yeah, more opportunities now, more momentum for this cause, these causes. It's perfect. It's a perfect thing. We don't see perfect things too often. This is perfect.
yeah. So now I got this brand new pickup, and it's got the Higher PowerSports logo in the back window, so I can't be sneaking around anywhere. Everybody's gonna know, hey, that's Coach Weidenbach. I got to watch how I'm driving.
Yeah.
All that stuff. There's a lot of pressure on me now.
With privileges come obligations, pal.
Oh, so no, very fortunate. That was a lot of fun, and again, like you said, thanks First Dakota, thanks to O'Gorman, Roosevelt, thanks to the O'Gorman basketball, the team. Then they didn't even go in the locker room. They stayed out and watched the presentation. Coach Roby asked the captains what they thought, and they said, "No, we got to be out there for Coach Weidenbach." And so that was pretty cool. Just a lot of great things that happened that night, and that'll be going on forward. So I wanted to get that story, give it some justice, and I know I didn't, but I hope people out there that have heard it and seen it. Obviously, I appreciate everybody saying thank you and all that. But if you know anybody from First Dakota, say a huge thank you to everybody that works at First Dakota from me and from Higher PowerSports, because of the impact, again, that we're going to be able to have because of this great gift.
Yes. That's a sweet rig too. I've seen it up close.
Yeah, it's way too nice for me.
That's a nice car.
Yeah, I don't know how to operate things. I'll sit in it in my driveway, try to figure stuff out. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. So, but
Somebody's driving by and they see that there's the light on in your truck in the middle of the night. Oh, Tim's out there trying to figure that stuff out again.
yeah. So the gas mileage hasn't been great because it's been running in my driveway most of the time.
Well, you're figuring out the buttons.
Yeah. So, but wanted to just kind of again give that huge shout out to First Dakota and all the employees there for nominating me and voting for me and Higher PowerSports for that great gift. And it will be used in hopefully a way that will make them proud, and hopefully for a long time.
Right, and it sounds like a cliche, but that's how you say thanks for this.
Yep.
Keep doing what you're doing. Right?
So, all right, so let's move on to something else. I'm tired of talking about me and how uncomfortable I got. So I'm sweating now talking about it. But so over the weekend, State, you played basketball, and South Dakota State won both games.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to see any of it?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch a minute of either game. I was in Austin, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Involved in other things.
Yeah. But, it just sounded, I didn't see the women's game.
Both games were closer than they were the last time.
Yeah.
And I think that you see that that the home court that is you could see. I mean, I can't remember what it was in Brookings for the men, but that was a one-sided game, and same with the SDSU women in Vermillion, and crowd definitely tightens those things up a little bit, which is great for the rivalry.
Yep. I think we're hoping that now they all play again in the Summit League, tournament coming up, and that's always fun when that starts. But for those two programs to play good games, it's good for the state. Obviously, we talked about this. The South Dakota State men are having a phenomenal year, and USD was in the middle of a good run, but South Dakota State's going to be tough to beat down the road here because they've got size, they've got quickness, they've got shooting. They've got a really, really good team.
Yep, I think this is a team that you don't even, and I don't know anymore. Especially, I didn't know then when I was covering all this stuff. But it seems to me like that's a team that they're the champion, the conference Summit League conference champion is not that good automatically.
Yeah.
That this is a team that doesn't come around every year in the conference.
Yeah. And then on the women's side, both those programs, again, hopefully they meet in the championship game. More importantly than that, I think hopefully they both get in to the tournament again, like they have the last couple of years, because I think those teams are more than deserving. And win or lose that first round, they both are going to give whoever they play a really, really good game.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody would, especially you'd see the history, especially with SDSU and how they've knocked off some majors in the tournament. And but just it's like, seriously, this is an 8th seed? Are you kidding me? Or whatever they'll be. I don't know, 6, 7.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing any digging on that, but I assume that's kind of where they've been recently. And or if one of the teams that doesn't win the Summit tournament goes down to, I don't know, 12 or 13 or something like that, and then it's even bigger problem for that 4 seed or whatever it is. All of a sudden they got an opening round game against either of those programs.
Yeah. So did you have a chance to watch any of the Pro Bowl?
I watched a couple minutes of it, and it was.
That's probably enough.
They can't do it anymore. You can't, if you don't tackle, you can't really play football.
Yeah.
So just call it something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was, like you said, they like, why are they even running the ball up the middle? Because everybody just stood up and they give them 3 yards, and then, like I said, there's got to be something better. Congratulations to those guys. They deserve recognition. I'm not saying that, but if you're so worried about injury, which I get, I completely understand.
I totally understand it.
Let's do something else.
You got to do something.
There's something better. Absolutely.
And you definitely see that with the culture of professional sports, and certainly the salaries and the value of their getting to next year healthy, and how they've all changed dramatically since the mid 70s. And I don't know, I didn't watch a lot of the NHL thing, but I kind of liked it, and because they're trying something different.
Yeah.
And baseball, you can still play baseball with some level of intensity and not risk injury, which I think makes that game a little bit different. It's a little more authentic most of the time than the rest of them. I'm not saying it's better or more entertaining, but it's closer to what they do every day than the other 3. But I don't know. It's kind of fun seeing guys or women get together.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, there's something congratulations to those people, and they deserve some sort of recognition. But there's something out there. I don't know what it is. Somebody that's way smarter than me will figure something out, I guess. But
I would just encourage as a, try some stuff.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to go, no, we can't do that. Try something.
yep, absolutely. I did see just some of the pregame the day before. They did some dodgeball and
Yeah.
races and
I wish I saw some of that stuff and I didn't understand the context of it, but I was amused by
yeah,
it.
it kind of took me back to when we were growing up, the Battle of the Network Stars. They had all those races,
Yeah.
games.
No, we watched that. Then you had Superstars, which I really watched that. And then Battle of the Network Stars was the other one. I remember. Yeah, but all sorts of things.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves, but that's all right. That's all right. That was good TV back then.
Yeah. It was must-watch TV. You got Howard Cosell talking to all the actresses and actors and.
So next week, working on a guest, but in 2 weeks we have Dylan Fishbach. So I want to get this out there so people can prepare. In 2 weeks we're going to have Dylan Fishbach, and Dylan's got a great story, up and down. I'd call it a great story, but he's had some struggles. Obviously, he'll tell you more about everything that he's got going on. But here's a kid that lost a leg due to cancer, but is really excelling in wheelchair basketball and is over in Germany right now doing that. So that'll be a fun conversation. And you know him pretty well.
Yeah, I've known him since he was a youngster, and the Fishbach family, and that was my relationship with Bruce, the old man there, over the years was kind of a favorite part of working in Vermillion a couple days a week for 20 years.
Yeah. His dad, Bruce, is, for those that you don't know USD very well, I think this is the first year he's retired. Was longtime athletic trainer and just obviously a great athletic trainer. Great athletic trainer. Took care of the athletes. Very personal with him, but just one of those guys that I like that guy. You talked to him and he said, "I like that guy. That guy's a good guy."
And that would, when you get to know those people, and certainly Bruce, there's many of them now over the years that I've gotten to know, and it's their expertise, but also the way they deal with different personalities, and how if you're going to be in that job and you're going to be good at it, and it's going to be the coaches and the players are going to like you, you got to have a gift for getting along with different types of people and being serving in a lot of different roles, not just saying, well, this is exactly what you have to do, but saying, all right, encouraging people, coaching them up, making them feel good, trying to inspire them. When you have to, just go, dude, this isn't going to work. You're going to do it this way. That kind of thing. There's a lot going on there with that type of job. And as I've seen it over the years, and I didn't know anything about it initially, but it would be a great job for the right people.
And he did a great job of all that, and then made it through that transition of Division II athletes to Division I athletes, and then moving into their beautiful new facility. And when he took me through that, he was very proud of it. He was, again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and he was telling me what all these things did and showing me these pools and the video that takes the video of your legs and monitors, the gait, the way you walk, and all that stuff. What a fortunate thing for the University of South Dakota to have a guy like that through that transition and help. Really, I think he was really instrumental in how that training facility was put together.
Ended up just being designed, absolutely.
So, and obviously, it's an unbelievable facility, and athletes are very fortunate. So, we we'll talk to Dylan in a couple weeks. Again, he's over in Germany playing some professional wheelchair basketball, and we finally catch up with him and hear his story because it's an amazing story, and everything that he's been through and been able to do is I think it's going to be one of those stories that we look back on and say,
Absolutely.
That's
I've
pretty good.
always looked forward to talking to Dylan, and I've talked to him a couple of different times. One time it was like just for the national anthem. And I was writing a story just on the national anthem and how athletes deal with it, coaches deal with it, and people who watch sporting events deal with it, singers deal with it. But I remember talking to him because he was at a national competition or at an international competition, and I remember it was Pan Am Games or what it was, but what it was like to all of a sudden have that anthem played when it's right on your shirt, and how that kind of made it a little bit different for him and for his teammates. But anyway, we can talk to him.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So as we wrap up here, any thoughts right now? I mean, there's a week between, so the Super Bowl is not this week; it's the week coming up.
It's next Sunday.
Oh, it is this week.
Yeah.
You got a team?
No, I was talking to Terry Vanderbeck today, who's a colleague, long time. But he goes, "You got any bets set up?" And I said, "Here's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna have like 4 beers, and all of a sudden there's gonna be a card that's gonna be being passed around, and for $10 you can get in, and I need that. Give me that. Yeah. That's how I'm gonna gamble."
Yeah, because you can gamble on anything, from the coin toss to the first penalty, all those types of things. Here's one that I just heard this week. Last year, somebody bet like $400,000 that there would be a streaker. And there was, but it was the guy that bet. So then he got busted and didn't win the bet. I don't know if they gave him his money back or what.
You can't fault him for trying.
I said, you got to get some better friends to take the hit for you. So, but we'll be back next week, Mick. Thanks for your time. As always, thanks for listening to my story again. You've heard it a few times.
Hey, that one, you can tell it right again after we get done here.
That's awesome, because I just replay it in my head over and over again, and it gets it's something special. So again, thanks to First Dakota for the generous gift, and all their employees for voting, nominating and voting for Higher PowerSports. And thanks to our sponsors, Boston's Pizza and Steve Mayer, the legendary Steve
I'm a
Mayer.
little disappointed we didn't spend a little bit more time breaking him down a little bit. Maybe some other.
Yeah. Well, we can have him back on.
That's
we can
another
have him back on.
Yeah.
Maybe he would be a great one to have on right before the Summit League basketball tournament. I mean, you know him. He'll know 1 through 8.
Yes.
Everything about him.
Yes.
So we'll try to do that. So thanks, Steve, and thanks, bosses, and obviously thanks the Golf Addiction here for letting us. We talk really loud, so people kind of walk in and look at us kind of funny, but that's all right. We're used to that. We don't. They're swinging golf clubs over there, and golf is supposed to be kind of quiet, but here I am talking as loud as I can right now. And, so if you got a friend or a husband that's here at a league and they complain about somebody talking during their backswing, that was me here at the Golf Addiction today, as they're trying to play their Monday night league here. So, and we talked about this last time we're here, but one of these times we're here, we got to do it over by a bay, and we got to critique each other's swings on here.
Okay. All right. I'll do it.
So, all right. So thanks again, everybody. And we will see you next Monday. I'm not sure where we'll be. It's usually a last second thing too.